I can't believe it, but Supergirl is now officially one of the biggest box office flops of all time because the movie is no longer playing in theaters and it officially ended its run with $126 million at the global box office, which is insanely low. And as you can see, is expected to lose Warner Brothers over $200 million. And I want to break down all the reasons I believe this happened, but first we got to give some context because, yes, this made over $40 million less than Morbius at the box office. For just some context about how bad this is, and we're talking like barely $20 million more than Madam Web. Truly one of the biggest disasters ever. Now, obviously, the biggest reason this movie underperformed at the box office is simply that it was a very mediocre to bad film in a lot of people's eyes. I thought it was mediocre. I gave it a 6 out of 10, and I stand by that. I do not think this is one of the worst comic book movies we've ever gotten. It's way better than all those Sony-verse films and stuff, but there is nothing really like amazing about this film. It might sound dumb, but I almost think this movie would have done better if it was actually a terrible film like Morbius or something, because if you tell someone, oh my god, that movie I just watched was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life, you're more likely to be interested and want to go see that film rather than someone walking out of the film and being like, I guess it was a fine movie. There's just really nothing great or bad to talk about. But clearly there's a lot more that went into this because, like I said, bad movies make a ton of money all the time. The 2016 Suicide Squad movie made 7 times Supergirl's box office with almost $800 million at the box office. I think the second biggest reason this movie failed is because of its release date. Obviously, it released at the end of June, right after Toy Story 5, and a couple weeks before we had the Odyssey and Spider-Man Brand New Day. And those two films are absolutely breaking records. Those marketing campaigns were just kicking into full gear right when Supergirl was coming out, and it just completely overshadowed this movie. Now again, I'm not trying to make excuses for Supergirl. This is also DC's fault. The marketing for this film was very lackluster. I feel like that first trailer coming out, if it was legitimately a great trailer and they had some great stuff in the movie to show off, this movie I feel like could have been a big success. There was hype for this character after Superman and she showed up in it. The first poster even went viral and stuff, but every single new trailer and piece of marketing, people could just tell like, yeah, there's really nothing special about this film. There's no wow factor of, oh, I gotta go see this, which the Odyssey and Spider-Man definitely had. I've talked about like Spider-Man had so much mystery in his marketing. Obviously that movie was always going to make more than Supergirl, but there were huge questions for that movie. Are MJ and Ned going to remember him? Who's the main villain? Who's Sadie Sink playing in the film? Is this going to tie into Doomsday? What on earth is happening? People needed to know. Same with the Odyssey. Yeah, it's a story everybody knows, but Christopher Nolan is a must-see director. Everybody wanted to see what's he going to do with it. How's this cast going to play out because of all that stupid drama with that. And like I said, those marketing campaigns were in full swing when Supergirl came out. Most people are probably like, yeah, I'm just going to save my money and go to those movies in July instead of this one. And you can't blame them. The third reason is that this simply came out way too early in the DCU. The only movie we've had in the DC universe so far is Superman, and she shows up for 5 seconds at the end of that film. I think if you were going to do a Supergirl movie, it has to be after this new universe has built up some momentum, has people invested in it, and maybe you have her in a Justice League movie, or she's in the next Superman Man of Tomorrow film in a big role. Then people grow to like her character instead of just seeing a 5-second cameo and making a whole movie about her. But the most important point is that we're moving on to the future of the DCU. So if you want to see my ranking of all the upcoming DC movies and TV shows coming out soon, click the video above my head right now, and thank you so much for watching.